Hello and welcome to The Law of Money with me, Vivek Law. Joining me is Anuj Puri, chairman of Anuj, and one of India's best known real estate minds to answer questions that many of you have sent in around investing in real estate. We saw a phase, Anuj, during the heady days, and I think that probably fueled the boom as well, that people began to feel, and I'm talking only residential now, people began to feel that, hey, you know what, I'm actually paying a lesser EMI versus the rent. So I'd rather just buy the house. And of course, as you mentioned in earlier episodes, that rental yields have gone down.
Correct.
How is that equation playing out? And do you believe that till we don't get back to that equation, where probably for someone it'll be cheaper to just take a loan, pay an EMI rather than going on paying higher rent, is when the next turnaround will happen? Is that typically a sign of a boom market?
On the EMI versus the rental yield that you are getting in, EMI is far greater every month that you have to pay than what you're going to be able to get the rental yield. So unless you have an ability to really bridge the gap every month, because your rental yield will be say 1.5-2%, your EMI is 8.5-9%. So there's a big gap. So every month one needs to have an ability, if you're buying a completed residential unit, which you can then give it on rent, to fulfill the gap between the EMI and the rental yield. The only hope that an investor will have if they're getting into this is that the capital value of the residential will go up, or one day I want to go in and live in there, or one day my son or daughter will go in and live in there. Otherwise, it really doesn't make sense today to buy on rental yield, to buy property on residential and give it on rental yield and pay an EMI, because the negative arbitrage in that is very high to pay every month out of your own pocket.
And this has happened because on the one hand you've seen interest rates falling, and on the other hand rental yields also falling.
Yeah, so we've seen that the interest rates have started to fall. So we were at 11.5, and it started to come down, and we're just sub 9 today. But the yields haven't really come up. The yields were stuck at 1.5-2%. They're stuck at 1.5-2%. So that really hasn't come up. So two things have to happen: is that the EMIs need to further come down, and Vivek, they were down just before Lehman crisis to 6.75. So we are at about say just below 9. We can come to 6.75, and your rental yields go up to 4. Suddenly, it changes. Then the equation fully changes.